Hello and welcome to Wise Women's Conversation. My name's Angela Council, your host for this podcast. And this podcast is a space for us to be having the conversations that women need as we discover life after 50. Together, we're going to explore topics like health, well-being, mindset, purpose, and the wisdom that helps us live the best lives as we age. So come along and join me for today's conversations. Welcome to the brand new Wise Women's Conversations podcast. For those that don't know me, my name's Angela Council, and I'll share a little bit more about what I do and who I am over the coming episodes. But if you've been in my world for a while, you will know that I had a long-running podcast called Menopause Conversations. And I put that on a break at the end of last year when I kind of stepped away from everything that I was doing. I had been working in the menopause space, helping women lose weight, reduce their symptoms, really connect back to who they were. But that space, you probably know, is very, very noisy. Lots of different opinions, lots of different, there's a lot of controversy that goes around. Should we be doing this? Should we be doing that? Lots of disharmony. And I decided I didn't want to be part of that anymore. But I still wanted to help women, but I just needed to have a bit of a break. I'd been running a really successful online program called Embrace that was, really making a difference in the lives of women, helping them to lose weight, everything to do with menopause. But I was getting burnt out. I was kind of really feeling run down with all the expectations. You're running a business. When you've got staff, you've got to be able to make enough money to pay them, to pay your bills, all of that. It just became too much. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to be doing. So I took a bit of a break. So at the end of last year, I kind of closed everything down very, very quietly. And over the last few months, I've been considering, what am I going to be doing? Do I want to continue working? I'm 64, and do I need to work? Probably not. But I knew that I still had something to share. I still had knowledge to share. I mean, I've been a naturopath for over 20 years now. I've been in business for 20 years. Been a naturopath for a little bit longer than that, and as well as being a kinesiologist, a personalized health coach, an NLP practitioner. So I've got these skills, but not just skills. I've got life lessons. I really didn't want to own this word, but I got wisdom. I've got wisdom to share, and I want to continue to be able to help women. I want my dream is that every woman, as they come into this later stage of their life, is that they're living their best life, that they're doing the things that they want to be doing, not that they're feeling like they're old, they can't do anything, they're past their use by date. It's like, that's not a life to live. I want to show women that it is possible. In my spare time, which I have lots of at the moment, I hike. I am actually about to jump on a plane, fly to the UK, and hike the Cornwall coast in the UK. We're going to do a 100-kilometre hike. Now, that's not my first 100-kilometre hike. Last year, I did 120 kilometres over the Pyrenees Mountains. That was pretty tough. I want women to know it's possible to do these type of things, whatever it is you want to be doing. For me, it's hiking. I know my sister-in-law, she likes actually climbing mountains, like physically climbing up the mountains, not on her feet, like rope climbing. I know someone else who loves to sail boats. It's like, we don't have to be limited by our age. So this is what this podcast's about. And the interesting thing is, with the Menopause Conversations podcast, when I very first started that, it was called Wise Women's Conversations podcast. But there was a part of me that wasn't owning that title of Wise Woman. And also marketing and all of that said, oh, well, you need to be putting the word menopause in if you want more people to, hear what you're saying. If you want more people to listen to your podcast, you need to put the word menopause in it because that's the words to be using. Kind of not doing that anymore. I'm not really, I've done all that marketing stuff. You should be doing this and you should be doing that. I'm just here to share. At the moment, all I'm here to do is to share information. Where that's going to lead to, I'm not 100% sure right now. As I said, I took a break from my business. I do have a couple of private clients and maybe I'll take a few more on, but I don't know yet. I really don't know. I've been through a time of transition over the last, few months, really going deep and thinking, well, what do I want for the next stage of my life? I know I want to go hiking. So whatever I do, I've got to be able to do at least 2 hikes, multi-day hikes a year. So that's a given. That's not going anywhere. And that keeps me fit. It keeps me strong. It keeps me healthy because there's a lot of things I have to do to be able to, go and complete these multi-day hikes. But other than that, what do I want to do? I know that I want to contribute. I want to help women. I'm kind of okay now to be a bit of a role model. I've kind of stepped away from that. And people, have said to me in the past, oh, you're an inspiration. I've kind of cringed at being someone's inspiration. And I'll share a bit more of my story, as I said, over the coming episodes. But I'm actually okay now to be a role model, to show women who come behind me what's possible. That we don't have to be invisible. We don't have to give up just because we get to a certain age. Like there's not a cut-off time for when we're living the life that we want. In fact, I think that, once, for the majority, if we've raised families, that when we step into this stage of life, whatever age that is for you, 50, 60, wherever that is, like this is the time for us as women to really say, what do I want in my life? And many of us, kind of left school, went into jobs, got married, had children. I had my children a little bit later in life, so I didn't have my children until I was 40. So I kind of did the career thing first, and then I stopped and studied and then started a business. But now, because my children are both grown up, they both live interstate, I've now got a freedom. I can choose what I want to do. Yes, I have, my mother's still here. My mother's still alive. My dad's not. And I've got a bit of a commitment there, but not too much, not enough that it's stopping me from doing the things that I want. So this is what this podcast's about, talking about the things that influence and impact us as we, move 50s, 60s and beyond. I'll be sharing some of my stories. I'll share some stories of women I've worked with. We'll be covering topics like health, lifestyle, just being in this stage of life, mindset. I'm not sure where it's going to go yet. You just see, it's going to be a little bit of an experiment. And so I'm going to put this on YouTube so you can watch me. So some of you might be watching me right now. It's also going to be out on the podcast platforms as well. And probably on Substack. I'm actually looking at starting a Substack as well. And I will put videos and all show notes and everything up there as well. So if you want to hear some stories of women who are making a difference as they move to this next stage of life, then subscribe. I'll share some of my stories. You'll get to know me a little bit more. If you've got any questions, if you've anything you want me to talk about, please just email me. My email address is angela@angelacouncil.com. Just email me and just say, put podcast ideas or podcast questions, and I respond to all of my emails. I don't have anyone else that does it, so I'll respond. And I'll cover whatever topics you want. Now, if you specifically want to cover topics regarding menopause, go and listen to the Menopause Conversations podcast. It is still there. There is, I think, nearly 300 episodes there covering lots of different aspects of menopause, health, all of that. So it's still there. You can still subscribe. You can still listen. There's just no more new episodes going there. So hopefully you're going to join me on the ride as we navigate this time of life, which for some women can be a little bit confusing. It can be a little bit questioning, but let's have the conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we want to live life as we move into this final stage of life. I reckon we've got so much to learn, and I reckon we've got so much to do and to share with the world. There is so much wisdom in women in this stage of life, and it's time we started listening to them. So subscribe, share with your friends, and join me next week when we talk about something else. Not sure what the conversation is going to be next week, but I do have a bit of a plan, and we'll chat next week. Bye for now.